Good evening, everyone, and welcome to webinar today, Admiral Markets. We will talk about news trading simplified. Today is 20th of May 2015. My name is Nenad, and today I will show you actually how we trade news. This is also a part of my practical naked trading teaching. So I was thinking about making this webinar exclusive premium webinar, but because I'm also recording this video, this is how actually I trade the news, and if I trade it, what news and which news we should trade it. So as I say, this is news trading simplified by my practical naked trading method, and we are ready to start now. Before we begin, as always, our standard risk disclaimer. Online educational materials are available by Admiral Markets as Estonia for a global audience. Therefore, please take into consideration that information in this session may not be suitable for everyone. To get a corresponding information on charting conditions and any other detail, please visit www.admiralmarketsglobal.com, select your country of residence, and contact an appropriate entity. The risk disclosure statement stating all possible risks associated with Forex market. By accepting the risk, you're also proceeding further with me. Admiral Markets UK Ltd takes no responsibility for the information accuracy. The analysis represents the personal opinion of the author, it's me, and in no way it represents the actual suggestion for the trade. These are not MK's opinions, and the website in the video is not a .co.uk website, but the globalnews.com website. Forex is risky business, and this should not be taken as advice. It's a personal opinion only, and this webinar is for informational and educational purposes only. So we have said that we are ready to proceed. So as I already said, this is the part of practical naked trading. Okay, remember this: practical naked trading. That is my method, which is the integral part of Camarilla MACD also, and it has practical naked trading principles in itself. Practical naked trading news, practical naked trading NFP. Okay, before we begin with actual method, we need to present something about fundamental views, what are key releases, and currency focus and news focus. The question which I see now, Bull Chan is asking, can we have the recorded webinars? No, you cannot have the recorded webinars. The recorded webinars are also property of Admiral Markets. So if you want to see recorded webinars, you can go on Admiral Markets YouTube channel and see and repeat these webinars as long as you wish. But you cannot have this because this is a property of Admiral Markets. Okay, so let's continue with the webinar. Fundamental views, as you probably know, guys. If you read my analysis and if you follow my analysis, you know that technical analysis is, in my opinion, definitely superior to fundamental analysis. But sometimes those fundamental views can present opportunity to trade. And we should definitely know which news to trade and when to trade. Because not every single news which is out there is tradable. So we need to know which news we should trade. Okay? If you followed last session recap, we had some mixed results, and there was a GBP loss. Euro dollar was good for 30, Australian dollar was good for some 35 pips, but overall results were mixed. And now the question is why results were mixed. As in previous webinars, we had more than 100 and 200 pips per session recap. That is because there are some fundamental views which happened before they were announced. And if you probably remember the drop, and you probably know that euro dollar was really dropping like a stone in last 2 days, and that was because yesterday on Monday there was some report which was not published before early Tuesday, and that happened in early London trading, and that news brought down euro. Actually, all dollar pairs have been much lower than they opened for the week. Okay. Now the question, guys, just confirm that you can hear me, because MJ is saying there is no sound at all. But do you have a sound? Audio is fine. Okay, thank you. Audio is fine. Okay, I will. Is fine. Okay, perfect, great. So you can hear me. That's great. Yes, traders were angry. I also published, if you followed my Twitter posts and my Twitter and I think Forex Factory, traders were literally angry. I need to say traders were pissed off because that report actually, I don't know if it was manipulated. I'm not sure. But the thing is, it should have been published day before, Tuesday. And when it leaked on Tuesday, it created a huge momentum to the downside. But fortunately enough, guys, you could see that basically 1285 gave us some 30 pips rejection on euro dollar. So actually, if you use trailing stop, you should have been fine. Okay. No, what can be done about it? Well, definitely you can do nothing about it. You can use your stop loss and you can manage your trade. That is the only thing you can do about it. But those things are definitely a part of forex trading, and you should not be worried about, because it doesn't happen always. It happens from time to time. Sometimes it may happen, but that is why you use stop loss, and that is why it can save your account from a big drawdown. If you follow my Admiral Markets Trade Explorer on Forex Factory, you can see that basically my trades are not risky. 26, 25, 26 profit overall. So basically, you just need to be very careful about once you're in profit, you should protect it. Let me cut it to the chase. Now, when we talk about fundamental views, it's important. Okay, it's important because fundamental views provide you spike momentum which can be traded. That which happened 2 days ago, that was not the fundamental. It was fundamental release, but because it came later than it should have been published, basically that was not a tradable news release. So you need to distinguish tradable and non-tradable news releases, and that is what we are going to cover in this webinar. And I'm going to show you how you can trade tradable news. Okay, that is the only thing you can do with rumors. I think not rumors, but news, because when there is a rumor in the market, usually there is a known spike, and you can see spikes in the market, but you don't know the source of those spikes. So those are rumors. We do not trade rumors. We trade news, and there are some news which can be traded, and there are news which we don't trade. Okay. For example, FOMC may be more important than other news this month. Of course, we won't be trading FOMC because FOMC is not a news in literal sense. It's actually a conference, and we do not trade during press conferences. Okay? So now I want you to distinguish two important parts: news conference and actual news release. Okay? News release is, for example, you open Admiral Markets calendar or Forex Factory calendar, and you can see some numbers, forecast, previews, and actual numbers. That is what you trade. You don't trade during conferences, guys. Remember that. Because if you were trading during conferences, the odds are that you would ultimately lose the trade. So you just need to trade those news which has actual numbers in it. Okay, are you following me? Actual numbers. So you basically are trading numbers. Okay. The key to trading news is knowing which releases matter and which don't. Okay. Some news create shorter, but some create mid-term impact on the market. Massive amount of traders entering, exiting based on the news release, and those traders want to do so at a price they feel is the best. So we need to know which price we should trade. We should trade it at. That is why I created, that is my method, which I will be showing you, practical naked trading and news, and practical naked trading NFP. Okay. Well, I will show you, I will teach you how to trade it, so you should not be afraid of, you just need to practice a little bit. So that is about fundamental views, okay? So what are key releases? There are dozens of key releases each month. Interest rate decisions, NFP, FOMC decision, not the conference itself, okay? Not the conference itself. Inflation, unemployment, industrial production, business sentiment surveys, German IFO, business climate, use sentiment, consumer confidence surveys, trade balance. Those are only key releases which are important. Of course, stress tests are important. They don't happen very often and you do not trade it. The question is, hope you mentioned how to trade non-farm payrolls. Yes, Ilya, I will show you how to trade NFP, which happens every first Friday in the month. Okay. So most important news release data, guys. Pay attention to this slide. This is most important news release data. So euro minimum bid rate, ECB, of course, this is what is most important. And actually what you should concentrate and what you should basically trade is numbers. So you don't trade press conference. That is important news release, but you don't trade it. Okay, you don't trade this. You can trade this minimum bid rate. You can trade this. You don't trade speaks, conferences, speeches. You can trade this. Okay. Yes, I'm recording this and this will be available. Okay. So pay attention to this. Minimum bid rate can be traded. I actually, you know, it's not my way to trade minimum bid rate. But if something like this happens, deviation from the release, then we are able to trade it. Okay, so you need to watch for red or green. That is the direction which you will be trading. Red is bearish direction, green is bullish direction. You're not analysts. You don't, it's not important for you to know what basically this all means, right? It's not so important. What is more important for you is to know how to trade it. Okay? So you just need to pay attention. This is euro, so you can trade euro dollar, euro Australian dollar. I prefer to trade major pairs on news. So euro dollar is my favorite pair to trade it if I trade the news. And look at this. So green number means that we can take bullish trade setups. A red number means that we can trade bearish setups. I will show you later how to do that, but just focus on what I'm talking at the moment. Okay. So, okay. Bid rate announcements are always followed by press conference. Press conference has higher impact than actual bid rate announcement. So if you want to trade this, you need to be very fast on your fingers because this will be overshadowed by ECB press conference. Okay, so press conference can move the pair in whipsaw pattern. Okay, shark tooth whipsaw. You don't want to trade this. You want to either trade spike to the upside or spike to the downside with PNT, practical, naked trading, proactive setup. I will teach you how to do it. So you need to be fast with your fingers. So minimum bid rate, you can trade it, but very fast initially, and then you need to protect your profits. This is what you don't trade. This you can trade. This you can trade. Speeches, conferences, you don't trade. A German IFO business climate, you can trade normally. Okay. This is some important things which basically explain what is important about these news releases. What do they mean? But as I say, we are talking now about trading, the actual trading, not about what this means. Okay, you can snapshot it just to be sure what this means, but the thing is, this is not important for you to memorize. This is more important for you to know, okay? These numbers. These are dollar numbers, and actually you can trade dollar yen and you can trade euro dollar when dollar news kick in, okay? A quick question, if we watch the live event, aren't the numbers set there so we can anticipate the move and not wait for it to appear in the calendar? I always wait for the numbers to appear in calendar, always, because I will be explaining during this webinar, this presentation, how we actually trade the news, okay? So you need to watch the numbers, guys, okay? You actually need to watch the numbers. It's important. Believe me, it's important, okay? Okay, this is what you can trade by dollar. So euro dollar, dollar yen. FOMC speech, you don't trade it, okay? This is what you can trade it. This is what you can trade it. This is what you can trade it: unemployment rate, preliminary University of Michigan sentiment, core CPI, core retail sale, trade balance, Philly Fed manufacturing index. You don't trade FOMC meeting minutes, and never, remember that, never ever, you can trade ADP. So you need to have actual numbers, okay, forecast, previews. And most important thing is to watch whether these numbers are green, which indicates bullish reaction, or red, which indicates bearish reaction. If you want to take a picture of this slide, you can press print screen or alt press print screen, and you just need to paste it or Control plus V somewhere in Paint or Word, whatever, okay? Okay, and actually, guys, you don't need to know that if those news are priced in, because you will be trading initial reaction, okay? Okay, you need to trade initial reaction. And that is a good question. Do you mean that you always exit a trade before the non-tradable news, even if you are in a loss? Not always. That is why I prefer to trade with low risk. And if I'm in a trade and there is some news, well, guys, I'm in a trade. You know, it can happen. But the thing is, news releases should be traded separately, okay? And only red news. When you see red, this is Forex Factory. You can also check Almir Markets calendar, which has exclamation marks. 3 exclamation marks means that it's equal to red on Forex Factory. So 3 exclamation marks on Almir Markets website calendar is equal to red news. So actually it's the same. Okay. So guys, this is what you trade and what you do not trade. Of course, NFP, all other news can be traded. But I have created a system which is different from standard news trading such as ISM, advanced unemployment claims, and NFP. So it's different. We trade NFP different and we trade other news different. Okay? So I explained now which news you can trade and which news you should skip. Now, currency focus and news focus. You should also know when to trade these news. Okay? First group belongs to London New York overlap or London session New York session. Dollar GBP euro. Okay? It can be traded during London New York session overlap. The only exclusion is dollar yen, which can be traded during every single session, but the biggest movement is obviously during London New York session. Okay? There is also Canadian dollar, which usually is traded during only New York session. Okay? So for Canadian dollar, you should pay attention to USD CAD, which is the most important pair for trading. And you can pay attention to CAD, Euro CAD, let's say, but my preferred CAD news trading pair is dollar CAD. So this is the pair you should pay attention to if you want to trade Canadian dollar. And there is also a third group which can be traded during Asian session. I put Australian session, but New Zealand dollar is the only one, to be honest, which you can trade during your Australian session, and that is actually New Zealand dollar pair. So these pairs can be traded during Australian and Asian session, but the New Zealand dollar is traded exclusively during Australian session on the news, of course, when news kick in. Chinese news I don't trade, and actually I don't have it on my platform on MT4 on the account which I use. So Chinese news, Chinese yuan, I don't trade, and you have plenty of other news to trade. So you don't need to think about Chinese yuan pair, really. So these are the, and yes, Swissy is not pegged. Swissy, I have a question. Swissy is not fixed. No, Swissy has been unpegged. So basically, I don't trade Swissy. If you ask me now, at this point, it's not. I can say it doesn't justify risk to reward, and every Swiss pair has a margin increase. So I don't recommend trading Swissy. You have other pairs to trade. You have major pairs. Also, you have good minor pairs. So do not bother with Swissy, really. There are really a lot of other pairs which you can trade. Okay. What news impact on gold and oil? CAD news, dollar news, and euro news impact gold and oil. Mostly oil is impacted by CAD news, also to some extent on dollar news, and copper is also connected to Australian dollars if you trade metals. Okay. But now we just need to pay attention to these pairs and these simply, that is why I call it simplified news trading. So you need to pay attention to these pairs and mostly major pairs with, of course, dollar CAD and New Zealand dollar in it. Okay. So euro dollar, pound dollar, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, dollar yen, dollar CAD. Those are pairs which you will be mostly trading with this system. Okay. Yeah, and this slide was made before euro was unpegged, so this does not apply anymore. And actually, this is what I like. We always need to be prepared for the market. I had a webinar about news trading in the past, but because market conditions have been changed meanwhile, I have created a better method for news trading which has current conditions in mind. So guys, that is why it's very important for you to attend every webinar, because some things which may have been important or may have been important, I know, 2 years or 3 years ago, are not so important today, and we need to adapt. That is also the purpose of these webinars, to teach you how to trade and to give you the most recent advice about systems and methods, because market conditions are always changing. They're not the same. Okay? So let me recap this. Not each news can be traded. I will use examples of tradable news and how they can be traded. It always gives the advantage to euro. I always give the advantage, of course, to euro dollar and GBP dollar. Sometimes GBP, Japanese yen, can be traded. Sometimes, because for London traders it's too late to be awake to trade, except you work with dollar yen pair. As I said, it can be traded also during a London session. But of course, guys, Swiss yen, I don't recommend it. Australian dollar yen, New Zealand dollar yen, those are pairs which are not traded in London in your session. Those pairs are traded, especially Odd yen and New Zealand yen, they're traded in Australian session and Asian session, mostly Asian, Tokyo. Okay. So you need to distinguish, as I already said, between tradable and high impact news. So this is all high impact news. So red on Forex Factory corresponds to 3 exclamation marks on Admiral Markets calendar. And I already explained which of these important news are tradable and which are not tradable. Okay. This is what is tradable on GBP. So claimant count change, these votes, unemployment rate, average earnings, service PMI, manufacturing production, CPI. All of this can be traded by GBP. I love to trade GBP because it gives a spike in a single direction in contrary to euro dollar. So usually, guys, you will notice that GBP news actually have a spike in a single direction, and you will also notice that GBP is basically not tradable before 10:30 or 9:30 GMT plus 1, GMT plus 2. It's 10:30 now, GMT plus 2. It's 8:30 GMT plus 1, or GMT, sorry, 8:30 GMT, because before pound dollar news, usually there is no movement on pound dollar. And if you make some trade before the news, it's very easy that you will be stopped out. So if you want to trade GBP dollar, you want to trade it after the news. Okay, this is GMT plus 2 times, so actually it's 8:30 GMT. Okay, 10:30. You know your time zone and when the GBP news release is. Okay, this is my time zone, GMT plus 2, and basically I prefer not to make any trades on GBP dollar prior to this news, and I will show you how to trade the news. Okay, now let's cut it to the chase. I've been telling you everything which is important, and I don't want you to be suffocated with all these, I don't know, unnecessary information. So now you need to know what is tradable, what is not tradable, and actually now we need to see how we can trade the news. Practical naked trading, news trading, mostly refer to all news which we're mentioning except NFP. NFP module will come just after PNT news trading module. Okay. The question: how about central bank intervention? Central bank intervention, what? Well, we don't know when it will happen, but if you want to protect from central bank intervention, what is the best protection? Using stop loss course. It's not very common that central banks intervene heavily in the market. Usually those are minor interventions, but in the case of bigger central bank intervention, you need, of course, guys, to use stop loss. You always need to use stop loss. It's not a question about how you make your entries. It's about how you manage your entries. So you need always to use your stop loss. Do never forget about it. We already talked about it, guys. Okay. Always, always. Do not forget it. Okay. So this is proactive setup, which we will cover. It's different from classic trading because we will be trading spikes. This is part of practical news trading, practical naked trading, news trading, which is my proprietary method. Proactive setups, entries are made 5 minutes after the first candle close in the news release direction. Green long, red short. GBP is traded and every other pair is traded on 5-minute charts. I give the advantage to GBP. Okay. Okay. Stop loss and target price placement. Conservative stop loss 5 pips above or below the candle prior to setup candle. Aggressive stop loss is 10 pips above or below the setup candle. Targets are random or hourly pivot points. Why I say random? Because if you're 15 pips in profit and you see that there is hourly pivot very close, okay, so you should use trailing stop once you're in the profit. Put your stop loss to break even plus 10 or take your profit completely. Depending on your stop loss, aim at least for 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Okay. Let's see the examples of the actual trading method. This is price action. you don't use any indicators except the price itself. The price is the ultimate indicator. This is construction PMI, PNT, news trading example. So 62.6 in contrary to 59.3, which was forecast. Okay, so this is forecast, this is previous number, and this is actual number. The impact is high, and this red impact is actually 3 exclamation marks on Admiral Markets. 10:30, and you can see the time at this example. We can see 9:30 because now it's GMT plus 2, and this was when we were in GMT plus 1. Okay, but it's the same. News happened here. Okay, at this point. Now, what is very, very important to see? We need to spot, guys, so-called setup candle. Okay, guys, setup candle. Where is our setup candle? Okay, this is setup candle, and it happened 5 minutes after the news was released. Okay, what did I say? 5 minutes after the first candle closed in the news direction. So this is bullish, right? So this is news, this is setup candle, okay? And candle was closed here. So this is bullish. You need to wait 2 pips after the break of setup candle. And here you go. Good profits. Okay? Good profits, guys. So you can place your entry 5 pips below setup candle, or you can be conservative, as I said, and go 10 pips below setup candle or 5 pips below this candle. Okay? 10 pips below the setup candle or 5 pips below candle prior to setup candle. This was candle prior to setup candle, so here or here you should put your stop loss. Okay? Let's see next example. 5-minute trading CPI. Okay? And look at the timing. 19th of May, that was yesterday, guys. This is very new example of a good trade on CPI results. Okay? Okay? Just watch the chart and I will explain now. Okay? Okay? Watch the chart. Okay? So, this is when setup candle happened. CPI and this other PPI came out very, very bad. Okay, not very, very, but it's bad to UK inflation and economy. Okay, so this is spike down, and what happened? This is setup candle, 5-minute candle close after the spike. Look at this. There is some up and down, and trades should happen in next 30 to 45 minutes. This is our entry. Okay. You place your stop loss 10 pips above setup candle or 5 pips above previous candle, and you're in profit. This is what happened. Conservative stop. So even if you went with conservative stop, sorry, this should be aggressive stop loss. So this is aggressive stop loss, and this is conservative. Aggressive stop loss is rarely touched, and you can see in this example when a candle made this is actually when the setup was activated, and look, price stop loss was never hit. Actually, price target was hit. Another example on GBP 5-minute. This is what happened today, and when you see this on official bank rate votes, this is bullish for GBP. Okay, so actually this was setup candle because news happened at this point, 10:30. Okay, Look at this. Just watch the timing. 10:25 is 5 minutes prior to news. This is candle which happened at the news, and 5 minutes after, this is setup candle. Okay, setup candle. Stop loss aggressive is 5 pips below below this candle, or 10 pips below this candle. This is where our entry happened. Stop loss was never hit. Actually, 5 pips below the, it never, 10 pips, sorry, I always mix it up. So once more, let me not confuse you. So stop loss, aggressive stop loss is 10 pips below setup candle. So this is stop loss, aggressive stop loss, 10 pips below setup candle, or 5 pips below candle prior to it. Okay. Yes, setup candle is always week to week. Exactly, week to week. So this is our setup candle, guys. This candle. Okay. This is our setup candle. Okay. The news is regarded as bullish because this is strong impact on official bank rate. So that means that bank rate will not change. It will stay the same. And usually when you see 009, 009, 009, this is bullish. Okay. So treat it as bullish, because I have been observing the price reaction after 009 and it's usually bullish. Okay. So do not be afraid, it's bullish. Okay. It's bullish. 009. Okay. What happened is, this is your entry, and look what happened after the news. Okay. Let's see 20 of May, that was today, but in regard to historical pivots, because this is you know, my pivot point indicator which you have, it can show history, and this is actually hourly pivot points. So hourly pivot points, this is the break, and you can see how hourly pivot points has been hit afterwards. Hourly pivot point change each hour. Okay, so you can see how targets have been hit. So once more, guys, when setup candle is broken, so this is setup candle, this candle is setup candle, if it breaks in next 30 to 45 minutes in the news direction, this is bullish. So in the news direction, so you're looking for longs, that is when you make your long entry. When there is a break of setup candle in the bullish direction in this example, in the bearish direction in this example, in the bullish direction is this example, that is when you make your entries. Okay. If you don't have the indicator, you should have it. You just email me, I will send you. Okay. So in next 30 to 45 minutes, you should look for entries. Okay. Let's see New Zealand dollar. New Zealand dollar. Okay. Yes, once the setup candle is broken, you go short and long. If you're not sure, okay, yes, you look for a breakout in the news direction. Okay. So you have setup candle. Okay. You have setup candle. Okay, guys, setup candle. This is your setup candle here. Look, New Zealand dollar 5 minute. This is setup candle here. So you need to wait for the break of this candle. This is stop loss below the setup candle. And look, you made your entry at this point. There was no stop loss, only the spike. Okay. So this is, guys, it's very, very easy. You wait for the setup candle. In next 30 to 45 minutes after the setup candle, you go for long or short depending on news release. Okay. Bull is saying, first time attending your webinar, great. You just sign up for every single webinar you can see, and I will be there to help you. Okay. this is what I do, helping traders to make profits, and that's my job, guys. So just follow webinars and you will be fine. I'm always making webinars which are in accordance to current market conditions. Okay, we are interested to trade current market conditions. Okay. This is solely done on 5-minute time frame. We don't do it on 1-minute time frame. NFP is traded on 1-minute time frame. Okay, so I will show you how to trade. Okay, how we will trade NFP. It's different. Okay. Yes, I trust setup candles. So I explained everything. Once more, if you didn't understand, once more, you wait for the results. This is bearish, okay? This is bearish. So this is when news kick in, okay? This is news candle, and this is 5 minutes after the news, spike candle. Okay, it went down. So you need this low to break to go with a short entry. And here you go, okay? Here you go, okay? Yes, it's not always, but sometimes, guys, you can trade it. Of course, if I had a good day before news trading, I'm not sure that I do news trading, because if I make profits, then I'm not greedy, you know? Because usually these kind of trades should be made separately to standard trend trading. Now let's talk to NFP. Okay, NFP. It represents the total number of paid US workers of any business, excluding the following employees. Okay, general government employees, private household employees, employees of non-profit organizations that provide assistance to individuals, and fire employees. That is NFP. Okay, pros and cons, advantages of trading NFP. It's very volatile. It can be profitable. It may give us a prevailing trend for next couple of weeks. Okay. Okay. Disadvantages. It's very volatile. There are initial whipsaws. Risks are very high. Okay. Risks are very high. Irrational movements. And pairs to trade: euro, dollar, pound, dollar, yen. This is how you trade NFP. Okay. Now let's see the actual system, guys. Okay. Open one. This is PNT NFP trading. Open 1-minute chart. Watch for deviation from forecast, green or red number. Wait for initial spike in news direction. Draw a Fibonacci. Enter at 78.6 retracement. Very easy, straightforward. Stop loss 10 pip below last higher low on 1-minute chart. So this is euro dollar, and the actual number was bad for dollar. So you need to wait to see. Actually, this is a little bit different from our standard news trading, because you just wait for the spike and retracement. You are not so interested in numbers, because sometimes in this example dollar news was bad and euro dollar went up. Sometimes it can happen that it goes in other direction. So you need to wait for the spike. Wait for the first spike and then wait for the retracement to 78.6 and you enter. Okay. Again, this will usually correspond to numbers, so you can see, but you just need to wait for reaction, because as you can see in this example, dollar news was pretty much good and euro dollar should have gone down, but you don't know where it will go. That is why you just wait for a spike, and it went up. So you don't look at this, you just wait for the spike. So this is the spike and retracement. You enter here at 78.6. 1-minute time frame, guys. 1 minute time frame. You are trading the spike. This is last NFP, which was tradable, 3rd of April. You can see there was a big spike to the upside, okay, but you can see it here. The price didn't pull back to 78.6. If the price pulled back to this level, you make an entry and then you're in profit. Okay? So this is how you trade NFP. Okay? This is how you trade NFP. Is everything clear, guys? Okay? Just confirm that everything is clear. Say yes, is everything is clear. Okay? Just say yes, is everything is clear. Okay. Let's see if there is any questions so I can answer it. I don't see. Yes, great. So everything is clear. Great, guys. I don't use limits or stops. And I get in straight away. Yes. So guys, once more, NFP trading. Watch for deviation, green on red. But, sometimes pay attention because spikes usually correspond. But sometimes, as in this example, they do not correspond to numbers. It doesn't matter. Wait for the spike. Then 78.6. Because your stop loss is not big. This is good risk to reward if trading goes in your direction. It's 10 pips below last high or low. So in this example, this should be 10 pips below it. Okay? And look, 78.6 entry. So you need to wait for a deeper retracement before you make an entry. Okay? You should know how you set 78.6. Let me pause the screen and I will show you if you don't know how to put 78.6. Let me open the platform and I will show you. I already shown that, but just in case, guys, if you don't know how to trade it, this is actually okay. Here, this is how you do it. Okay, insert Fibonacci retracement like this. Okay, objects, Fibonacci. For example, you don't have this level. Let me add this, and this is how you go. 0.786. Description, 78.6. Okay, close, and you will have 78.6. The same you do for 88.6. Okay, I'm not sure. Let me see. Yeah, screen is paused. I will unpause it so you can see it here. You just, guys, please confirm that you can see my screen. Just say yes if you can see the screen. Okay. So you can see the screen, great. And now, guys, objects list, Fibonacci. Let's say that you want to enter this level, 78.6. So you press add 0.786, and in the description you put 78.6. Okay, easy. Job done here, 78.6. So that is how you put these additional Fibonacci. And remember, guys, news spike trading is NFP trading. Wait for the spike, retracement to 78.6, stop loss here, and you're trading the spike. So last tradable NFP, if was a If the price had hit 78.6, we would have made a good entry to the upside. In contrary to standard trading, where you trade setup candles. So these are two different ways how to trade these orders. So guys, if you have any questions, you can ask me. This webinar is recorded. It will be uploaded. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. If you don't have any further questions, I can assume that webinar is over. So you need to wait for a FOMC today. FOMC will be probably very volatile, and actually euro dollar can jump if FOMC will have a dovish tone. So we will see what will happen. I already did euro dollar analysis. If you haven't seen it yet, if you haven't checked it yet, I did it with Forex Street. You can see it here. Okay. 1.1215 and 1.1060 are crucial levels. So read the analysis before FOMC. And you do not, guys, you don't trade news FOMC. You will not use this method, which I have been explaining you this webinar, to trade FOMC conference. Do not do that, because FOMC conference is not news, it's a conference. And you don't trade, never, ever, during conference. Okay? Do you see cable recovering from current level? I think that cable will be sold, yen. I think. So we will see. And we will see that. Okay. So guys, I don't see any questions. So we can assume the webinar is over. Pay attention to FOMC. I hope that you will be using these methods to trade news. But this is news solely. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact me, ask me. Thank you guys. So 5 minutes for standard news, NFP for 1 minute trades. Okay. So I don't see any questions, so we can assume the webinar is over. Thank you guys. Enjoy this. Okay, enjoy this webinar. Be very careful about FOMC. I hope that I have answered all questions, guys. If I missed some questions, please send me an email. I will be glad to answer you. Thank you for the comments saying you're the best. Thank you. Thank you for listening to me. I will be here with you soon. Cheers, guys, and as always, trade safe.